Hi everybody, this is Patty the Leather Lady, and we are getting ready to do a video on some bull riding rodeo chaps. So these are called batwing chaps, and we're going to show you the repair that is needed. He got gored, or he didn't get gored by the bull, but the chaps sure did. So we're gonna gradually show you the process. My worker will be here working with me, and I'm gonna be teaching her on this as well. Let's get going. All right, so we are gonna go, I laid these out here, so these are sort of a teal color. Definitely have been through the ringer to a couple of rodeos, definitely. We can see where the hole is that we need to repair. Luckily, it was just torn straight, no chunks out of it, because this teal would be really hard to match in color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up this little cut part here, get it nice and clean, just sort of take a knife and just do it really gently, because what we wanna do, he doesn't care what it looks like. I need to find thread. So when you rip something like this, okay, just a heads up, we need to get thread that matches as close as we can. I don't even know if I have any, to be honest. Okay, but when you tear some type of hides, especially if it's a thinner, you are going to stretch it. So if we look at this, we can see there's little bubbles here. There's a lift here, bubbles here. That's just typical. So now we've got to figure out, okay, how can I do this so that it matches good? We're going to take this piece here and we're going to put a piece on the back side. Okay, we're probably going to clean these up for him too. We're going to take a piece on the back side and we're going to put what we would do is probably some, it doesn't matter what color it is, he doesn't care, but this is goat hide. We will probably take something like this, and then this might be the actual one that we use, and we're just going to cut it out so that it matches that shape, and then we're going to glue it down like a patch. And then what we'll do on the other side is we'll flip that over. Okay, I'm just telling you how we're going to do it, and then we'll do the process with my worker. Okay, so then this is on the bottom side. Okay, so there we go. We got that there. Get that out of the way, and it's glued. So now what we're going to do is we're going to match. Once this is cleaned up, we're going to take the sewing machine and just sew around that, and hopefully you won't even notice but a line and maybe the stitching marks. But he doesn't care. He's riding bulls. He doesn't care. The bulls don't care. So when my worker gets here, we'll get started on this and we will keep working. All right, so what we did right now is we took and we trimmed the edges here. Okay, and on the back side. All right, and then what else we did was, so we were getting to the point where we've got to glue this piece on, and we're going to make sure that all this sort of fits. Now remember I said that there's a little bit of a buckle here because it's stretched. So you're going to just do the best you can and put these pieces together. So if you're doing this for your chaps or whatever. And then what we did is we took a piece of, this is goat hide. If you have some calf hide, that would work. And we dyed it as close as we could because it's going to be the inside. Now, if this was the outside, I would probably try to buy some chap leather that would match it. However, we can actually put this on the inside here. So this is sort of the darker side, but we cut it so that you could probably do both, either way. And this is going to go here, and we're going to glue this piece down next. And then what we'll do is once we're done gluing and it's all nice and dry, we are going to flip it over and just sew the edges, and then we can come back and trim if we need to. But I think this is going to be good. You, like I said before, you want to make about a ½ an inch from the cut. So we'll probably flip this one over this way. So ½ an inch from each side. So that gives it, if it tears more or something happens, maybe a bull bucks them off again or whatever, you still have that room to still support it. So that's what we'll do next. So we're gonna glue. So on this one, here's another FYI on the glue. Okay, so you've got a rough side and you've got a smooth side. However, we went and we all do it. We decided to do both sides, but then now they're smooth. They're both smooth because we put a finish on there because we don't want that dye coming off on his leg. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rough it up. And the way to rough it up, because you need that glue to adhere, so you're gonna rough it up with some sandpaper. So you can use a fine sandpaper. You just need to get some texture into it. Which side do you want to do? Which side do you think we should do? Do this side? That side?
Yeah, do the outside.
The outside, and then this way. Okay. All right. So all I'm gonna do is get some rough edge in there. So we have this as rough already. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do, and what I did before you guys didn't see, is there's some dirty marks here. I took a brass brush and I cleaned it off. You wanna make sure your area is clean. And then what we're gonna do is, what I'm using is barge. I use it for almost everything. You can thin it out, you can leave it thick. As it gets older, it's gonna thicken up. So I'm just gonna put a little on the outside here. And I'm gonna put some over the top of that because I want it to seal right there. Okay, let's get that flat there. Okay. Move that together. And then I'm also going to put it on the piece. And I'm going to stay in the center of the piece just in case I want to trim a little bit. Oops, is that the right side or did I screw up? See, I even screw up. No, that's right. Yeah. Because I said paper. I do this all the time. Okay. So we're just going to do in the center. And then if we want to trim it later, we can trim it. Or if we want to add more glue, we can add more glue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let it dry. It has to become sticky to adhere. Okay, so I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, and then when it gets super sticky, then we can come back and go ahead and put the two pieces together. All right? Okay. All right, so we're gonna flip this over here. There's a couple of tricks that we can do. You're gonna hear my dog barking in a second. Okay, so shoot, we got a little bit off over there. It's okay. We can get this off. This can come off with a little bit of Goo Gone. If you guys don't know what that is, Google it. Okay. So there's a couple of things that you can do, okay? If there's some excess glue, you can actually take a little bit of a piece of cardboard and get it off, you know, that way on your edging. So if you have that, but if you really need to get it flat because we have it a little bit curled, so what you can do is take grandma's old, what is this called? A rolling pin. Thank you. And flatten it out so there's no air bubbles or anything in there. Okay, so we're gonna flip this over and we're gonna have a challenge because we have a split. Okay, so what we need to do, it's going to be very sticky, which I should have done the other thing first before I did the rolling pin, is we are going to move it up to that piece. And you want to get it right there because this is stretchy. So CHAP leather is stretchy. And again, if you get a little glue on there, don't worry, because you are going to get it off with some Goo Gone. And if it gets dirty, we sell from Bee Natural a CHAP cleaner. It's great if you go online and see that. We sell CHAP cleaner. And just sort of play with it a little bit. This one here, we may, because we lost a little bit of so there is going to be a little bit of a line there. You can touch that up if you want with a little, I mean, you're going to have to take a paintbrush and really be really careful, because you just want to get in this crack here if you want to do that. This gentleman doesn't care. He just wanted them stitched up. And this is about as good as he's going to get. So then what we'll do next is we're going to let this dry overnight. And then we're going to take the sewing machine and try to match as close as we can of this teal, turquoise, whatever color it is. And then we're just going to take and sew within our line. We're going to sew from the top, not the underside, because we don't care about the underside. We want to make sure that we're at least a ½ an inch around in case another bull decides to want to rip him up again. But then this should be good to go for another several rodeos if he wants to use them for. He's going to have a new pair made, so this is his sort of grunting ones. All right, that's how we would do that. So we let it set overnight, and then we'll come back and sew. All right, now, so on the sewing machine, I was able to put a little thing down, so you'll get a close-up of this and when I do this here. However, what I want you to know is, and then if you look at the back side, what we did was trimmed it up in the back, and I'm going to go ahead and dye this a little bit and probably trim it up even just a little more. What I did use is I have some shears. If you get some leather shears, you can do it with your thin leather. These are just leather shears, and you can just take it. It is glued along these edges here, but I will go back and put some dye on those edges, and then it's good. I mean, you're not going to see this side, and he didn't care. He really didn't care. Again, bull rider, and he just is doing that. So, but when I want to talk about too is that when you're looking at buying thread, you got to be really careful. If you can do it in person, it's much better to do that. Take the piece with you, as well as, because if you look, I went and first I ordered this one here, and the picture in the online was much more green than this, but I got blue. I mean, there's no way that I was going to match that with that. The other thing too is I went back and I'm like, okay, because the places around me, they're far away, so I have to drive a long ways to get to the supplies. And yes, I can return that, but I also do motorcycle patches, so they use all different kinds of colors, so I'll keep that. But this is another one that I got close. I would have likened this a little bit excuse me, lighter. However, when you are sewing something that is a light color like this, the key is, especially like you can do this with horse blankets. I did horse blankets for so many years. You want to go darker than what the color of this is, because if I were to go to a super light green, it would even stand out more. So just some FYI on threads, when you go to sew it, you don't want lighter than this, you want darker, just a hair bit darker. But I was trying to get it so it matched, but I would keep buying thread after thread after thread, and he doesn't care because, again, another bull might gore him. So that is pretty much what we can do with that. And this is heavily glued, so that's not going to come undone. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is these are really nice chaps. And I personally think that they're very dirty, especially when you're looking in here. This area is really dirty. However, what I want to talk about next is how you clean your chaps. These are smooth. These are considered a batwing chap, and I just wanted to help him out and clean it because they might be clean for the next bull ride. And it looks like there's a bunch of snot down at the bottom. So I went and played around with the bottom and I just thought, well, as a gift, I'll go ahead and clean it. However, he might like this patina to show that he's really put his grit and grime in it. So what I did is I cleaned the white up here. And so what I'm using is, if you guys want to clean your chaps, this is what you do. I mean, this is a way of doing it. So I use a product called Natural Leather Cleaner. This is Bee Natural, and we sell this on our website. It sells for $26, but it goes a long way. So I'm just going to do a little bit of spot because I don't know if he wants all this patina. I have not asked him. So all you're going to do is squirt it on. Let it set for just a second. Like, it doesn't take long. And then you're just going to wipe it off. You can see I've already wiped all this corner off. And then you're just going to wipe it off. And some of this has probably been on there a while. You can see it whitening it up. And these are old. He's going to have me make a new pair. Be really gentle if you get in there and you scrape off some of this. This is, yeah, you don't want to scrape off that top layer of white. Okay, but there we go. Get some of those spots out of there. Look at that. So clean. Really easy to clean. And then just let it dry. And you are done. So go on our website and order Bee Natural, the leather cleaner. This you can use on suede and you can use on nubuck. You can use it on deerskin and exotics. If you do it on suede, we're going to show you what you can do. See how dirty this is back here. You're going to want to use a brass brush. Okay. So this is a little brass brush that you can get for like your shoes and stuff. We sell them online as well. But you're just going to get a little brass brush and you're just going to spray. I'm just going to do a corner. Okay, I'm going to let it set for just a second. Let it soak in a little bit. Now it is going to darken it until you dry it. But there we go. It's all nice and clean. That spot is gone. Okay. Somebody said, try it on the white. Okay, I'll try it on the white here. Now, we did the white on the other side, so those came out nice and clean. But these are pretty much down in the dirt. I would not do a circular motion on this part. You might have to use a little bit more. This may not come as clean as the smooth. Because again, he's been running the bulls and stuff like that, but it is coming a little bit clean. And again, but it is really sort of meant for this kind of stuff. So you can use that and clean that. Now, if it doesn't come 100% clean like you like it, you can use this on your saddles and everything as well. If it doesn't come as clean as you like it, then go ahead and do a second coat. But definitely it does whiten up very nicely. Cleans up your stuff really nicely here. Sorry, my finger is really sore. I'm starting to get those ugly old people bumps and I'm like, gosh, really? But see, it cleans up the metallic really, really nice on this side as well. So there you have it. If you want to clean your chaps, that's one way to do it. It's a good product. It protects your your chaps and everything. And not only that, but you can use this on your saddles, your boots. You can use it on, like I said, the exotics, anything of that nature, any top grain. So I hope this helped you. And don't forget to go to the leatherladyllc.com or watch more of our videos. Thanks for watching.